How we all doing, everybody? How we all doing? It is the Transformers Slag podcast Saturday night main event. I am your host, Proto Man. How we all doing? It's been a busy day today for me, so excuse me if I'm a little bit on the low energy. But let's talk some Transformers. I was downtown Montreal. You could probably take a guess on my Twitter what I was doing at that moment there, and then had to race over back here and do our thing. So, we got some news we're going to cover. We got a reveal from Symbiote Studios of a convention summer exclusive that is going to be revealed for the first time here on the stream. People will be hyped for that one, especially if you're people that collect that kind of stuff. And they make some good stuff. And we'll just talk some Transformer news. I'll show you some cool stuff I got this week, and we'll take some super chats, and we'll call it a lovely evening. So then, let's scroll on down and get on with that, and then we'll take care of the cool peeps that are in the audience here today, and there are some cool peeps indeed. So first thing, we have a spread of Masterpiece news today. So first thing to jump into is that of this interesting leak that popped up. What's up, Aaron? Now you get to hear my voice. Anyways, so we have this first leak that popped up. This came from multiple different sources. We don't really know exactly 100% where this came from, but the credibility is there because of how the tooling is. This is a test shot of a potential Masterpiece cliff jumper. Now, there was a lot of heated arguments and people saying, oh, it looks garbage. Oh, this third-party company is doing a better job. I'll be honest with you guys. What I'm seeing here is exactly an attempt to look like the Fleero Deary design of cliff jumper, which is, I mean, if you look at the bottom right there, there's the Ocular Max third-party cliff jumper that turns into a 1x1 scaled, Porsche 924 from I think it's a 1982 model. If not, I don't know, as the rubber spoiler as opposed to the standard fiberglass spoiler. So it's probably the 1982, like the 944s. Anyways, point is that's what the third party guys are trying to do. This Hasbro one, or Takara one actually, excuse me, because it's probably going to be Takara only, is trying to do the Fleero Deary design. It's trying to do that sleeker kind of cliff jumper look, the squashed Microman, Porsche design, and they're going to be able to get away with it because it's the squish design. They don't have to pay Porsche for a licensing or anything like that, much like our Studio Series Jazz that was doing a Fleero Deary Porsche design there too. I think it looks great. You could already see that some of the tooling is shared between the hands, the way the shoulders are done, and of course the legs and everything, but there's still a lot of other kinds of shell-based stuff. According to one of my patrons, they said that we're going to be getting some images of the alt mode soon, and that should I'm hoping, will quash some people's negativity, and we can get a better idea of what's going on here. I don't know. I love Cliff Jumper. I love Cliff Jumper as a character. He's probably one of my easily favorite mini bots, along with Brawn and Outback. I always have a soft spot for Outback because he was one of my first mini bots I ever got. And it's just, I think it's cool. I'm kind of curious what it's going to cost. I'm curious what other accessories. I mean, we could already see he has his regular gun, and then he has his long range cannon there from More to Meets the Eye. So we'll see what happens, but I'm really curious in the near future what we're going to see of this product. Let's jump into some other Masterpiece news, and it's an update on our Nightbird. Now, last week we talked about Nightbird, and we just had the one grainy image and a grainy image of some accessories. Now we got much more of a better deal at what's going on here, and she looks fantastic. She really does. I love what's going on here with all the extras, all the weapons, all the designs, the same posability that was present in the RC mold that it came from, because this is, I believe RC was MP51, and this is MP55. So I really like what I see. I think she looks spectacular, the posability, the remolding and stuff, and she looks really good. And again, it does that throwback to both the TFCon and the Sakamoto version, which used the RC mold, so can't argue with that. Had a little bit to do with that one, so kind of have a little bit of a biased of an opinion. But at the end of the day, I think she looks fantastic and very poseable, very cool, the sexy ninja. And speaking of accessories and everything, she comes with a bunch of stuff. A bunch of stuff, some deep cuts from the Takara Tomy photography booth, let me tell you. So, two lightsaber swords. Really, she only used one in the show. We never saw her wielding two, but that might just be a throwback to, again, the Sakamoto and the TFCon exclusive that came with two of them. Comes with two sais that could be stored on the wrists. Again, Sakamoto and the TFCon exclusive did the same thing too more than 10 years ago, so a throwback to that. We have the RC giant swords, but again, these are not the same sculpt. It's a brand new sculpt with extra tabs that work with that Masterpiece RC mold. Pretty cool. I dig that in gold chrome. Nice throwback again to the Sakamoto design that had those. Two little ninja stars. Seen throwing those at the Autobots in the Ark. Two guns that came with her, which are, pretty much carryovers from the RC. A little compartment pouch, which is what the RC toy had to hold, a holster for the gun. And a interchangeable head. So you could see the mouth under the mask. And I'm convinced that probably, we have probably two different faces that you could see the mouth. But either way, really cool. And again, that's also a throwback to the Sakamoto manga, where she was able to show her face and everything. So pretty cool. And 3 energy accessories. Again, I'm showing them here with the show images. Her telekinesis abilities with her purple energy. Pretty cool stuff. I dig it. She looks really great. I'm looking forward to it. The estimated MSRP on this one is 17,600 yen. So approximately $150, between $190, depending on where you're pre-ordering from. And the estimated arrival and ship out date will be February of 2022 next year. So pretty hype about that. I dig what I see. I like it. It doesn't have to be super show accurate, because once in a while we get repaints from pre-existing molds within the Masterpiece line that aren't show-based kind of stuff, but just, hey, let's have fun with this. Let's have fun with that. Let's do this character. Let's do that character. And that's one of those cases where you got to do something with that RC mold, and that ain't a too shabby idea if you ask me. I think it looks great. Speaking of other repaint / remolds of Masterpiece stuff, we also got our full photo shoot of MP53 Plus Senator Crosscut, as it's called. It's called Senator Crosscut instead of just Crosscut. So for people of the sharp eye, this is our repaint / retool of our Masterpiece skids. We already had our Reboost, which was the red repaint, and now we have this third one. Imagine the skids one isn't out yet, and we already have our 2 repaints. But this is a strong collaboration with Honda, and it looks like they really want to put as many out of this mold as possible to celebrate not only the design itself of the Honda City, but the Honda City Turbo, the Honda City R, and all its variants. It's supposed to be a celebration of both that design and, of course, all the different variations of that famous car in Japan. Again, wasn't a big deal over here, but over there it pretty much was the small compact civic vehicle in I guess, commonality that we have here in America. So pretty awesome. Really dig it. A lot of accessories, a lot of cool stuff. And again, for people that aren't familiar with who Crosscut is and they missed previous segments that I talked about it, it was originally an e-hobby character using the coloring and design based off of an old Diaclone color scheme for the Honda City R. And it had the little Moto Campo, which is the little scooter that came with it that was absent with our Skids toy. And then in 2014, the Generations Thrilling 30 line gave us a repaint retool of the Skids mold, as of course, Crosscut. So that trademark was then put out there. Pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about this one. These are very Alternator-esque in design. I just want to go back for a second. It's very Alternator-esque with the doors and the back opening and the engine bay. It's that speaks to me a lot for people who know what my background is. I just got to get a sip of water there. So I dig it a lot. Again, let's just also just jump into all the other molds. So bottom right there, you see there's the 3 different masterpieces now that are planned, and in the top left and the top there is all the previous repaints that have existed of that character throughout the years. Skids, Crosscut, Reboost, and now we have, of course, the black one, which never got a name or a character, and then the full red one with the red head. Maybe one day they'll do repaint retools of those ones, and we'll get some crazy ideas from them. And who knows, the top right over there, the green Skids and Screech, the eHobby exclusive from, the Million Publishing exclusive from 2009, which was a mailway. I have those in my display. I dig them a lot. They're really cool. I really like them. They're very movie-esque kind of throwback. So pretty cool stuff. I like it. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I like it. So again, with this guy here, the MSRP is going to be 100,780 yen, which comes to about $90, which is pretty damn good if you ask me. $90 for masterpieces. That's like back to the Hasui era with Sideswipe and everything. So sign me up, a $90 masterpiece that looks this good. That sounds pretty good to me. Obviously on the high end, some people are asking 110, 120. But again, depending on who you pre-order from, you could get it pretty good. And the expected ship out date for this is going to be March of 2022. So, hey, some really good masterpieces between between Nightbird and this one. We have some good stuff rolling out for our masterpieces coming. So I dig it a lot. It looks really good. Sign me up for that. Speaking of really, really, really good looking stuff, I'm pretty sure a lot of you saw this. Super 7 put out their email and revealed their next lineup of their Transformers Ultimates line. For people who aren't familiar with the Transformer Ultimates line, it is a hyper-articulated 7-inch line of figures that are non-transformable, but really do some deep cuts in terms of accessories and throwbacks to Transformers lore. And I guess because also Super 7 is aware, these are non-transformable figures. So some of the figures and the previous wave also, they make sure to go out of their way to kind of also make them Action Master homages in different ways, or Pretender Shell homages, because Pretender Shells themselves don't transform. So they pick really good characters for this that make it worth the display and showing off. So we got Megatron, we got Bludgeon, we got Dino Mode Dinobot, Grimlock, Dinobot's Grimlock, and we got that of Trax. Now, the deep cut with these accessories, let me tell you, and I did a segment about this, but I just want to cover it again. I mean, Megatron comes with all these multiple heads, which are homages to the episode Microbots, A Prime Problem. You got Kremzik is there. You got the chemical flask from Return of Optimus Prime Part 1 when he permanently scarred Gregory's face. You got the laser sword from the movie. You got the blaster from the movie. You got the Pearl of Buhad. What was it called? Buhudin or Buhadin? It's been years since I've seen that episode. But from the Trans-Europe Express episode, Season 2, is this Cybertronian weather device. So many cool deep cut accessories there. When you look at the Bludgeon, you got a whole bunch of hey, this is comic book head, this is non-comic book head, toy accurate weapons, comic accurate weapons, even a little bit of accessory that you could rip his head off, have some dangling wires, and a certain Wave 3 G2 Megatron will be able to hold his head a la Hamlet. That's the one that catches me the most. I'm really interested in that Bludgeon, let me tell you. And then the Grimlock. Grimlock comes with his fish from Grimlock's New Brain. He comes with the brain device from Grimlock's New Brain. He comes with all the little waiter accessories from Madman's Paradise Season 3. There's so much going on here. And the crown. I mean, the crown doesn't really make sense in this case because he always wore a crown in robot mode in the comics. And the only time we really see the crown in Dino mode has been the Masterpiece toy, just because they had to figure out something. And then later on, Cyberverse. But hey, they got to include something, so it's pretty cool. And last but not least, Trax. Trax is going that Action Master route because there was an Action Master Trax. So he has his Action Master partner, Basher, with him with a very Trax kind of color scheme. Even the gun that comes with him is based off of his Action Master, so they're really hammering down the Action Master Trax. But he also comes with a cartoon-looking blaster, too. He comes with the cartoon alien face from Hoist Goes to Hollywood. We have, Blaster also, who is in Blaster mode, in the Ghetto Blaster mode. from the Autobop episode season 2. A lot of cool stuff going on. It's such a deep cut, and I'm so excited about these. So what's going on with them is they're going to be essentially $55 each, and they understand that they are a little pricey. And if you are interested in buying all of these, you do have a payment plan that you could do, so you don't have to pay everything at once. So you could do a payment plan with them. You go on their website and look that up. Or alternatively, if you're someone that's not in the United States and you also want to save on shipping, they have partner programs where other people are going to be distributing and carrying their stuff. So you could check that out too. So Super 7 is giving you options here. I'm not sponsored by them. I just really love what they do. They have never sent me anything. I just buy their stuff. And they really speak to me from a 90s kind of kid, 80s kind of kid aesthetic. So, and not to mention, Bludgeon. Jeez. That's Simon Furman, late Marvel Comics kind of G1 stuff, which I eat up. Eat it up so yummy. Anyways, next up. Next up, we have also another bit of a throwback. We have Fathom. Fathom events. They're going to be revisiting once again Transformers the movie, and we're going to be getting our 30th anniversary big theatrical screening of Transformers the movie, the 1986 animated movie by Fathom Entertainment. They did it a couple of years ago. It was in 2008. That picture in the bottom right there was me when I went to go see the 2008 screening. It was pretty much they were working with Shout Factory at the time. Shout Factory did the Blu-ray release of it, and 2 years later, they're like, hey, why don't we take the Blu-ray release? We'll put some extras from the coming Bumblebee movie, something with, Stan Bush, and we'll put it in theaters. And even in Canada, in Montreal, I got to see it in theaters with a whole bunch of friends. I wore my Transformers the movie jacket there with the cool Autobot, Ultra Magnus crew and everything, the front of the DVD / movie poster cover on the back there. Really dig it. Super hype. I'm happy that they're doing this again. It gives people a second time if they didn't see it the first time to go see it in theaters. I know that the world is in kind of a crazy place right now, and theaters aren't exactly the best way to go about it. But, we'll see what happens. So the dates that they have right now is Sunday, September 26th at noon to Tuesday the 28th till 7 p.m. Again, they're going to have deeper information and more stuff in relation to what is going to be going on. Yeah, I meant 2018. Sorry about that. Sometimes all the information's just bouncing out of my brain here, this tiny brain of mine. But either way, so there's going to be more information about this. So if you're curious if this is going to be in your area, if you're someone outside of the United States or Canada, even last time they did this in 2018, we didn't get any announcement about the Canadian stuff until weeks after they did the big announcement. So they're going to give us more information about it on their website, where you can get the tickets, who are the participating movie theaters. I'll be honest with you. The movie theater that was carrying this was not even like the best movie theater in Montreal in Canada. They picked this one movie theater in kind of this rich area of Montreal that had 4 screenings, and that was that. It wasn't our downtown theater. It wasn't our big fancy theaters. They just picked one. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be, playing somewhere that you might not expect. So be sure to check that information. They said that they're going to have more info on Hasbro Pulse Fan First Friday on August 13th next month. So we'll learn more about it then. That's all we could really say about it right now. What extras we'll get, how it's going to look, we will see. Probably they might put an extra or two from the DVD that we just got recently, the 4K transfer. But we shall see in the future. Last but not least, well, we still got a few more things, but last but not least, here's one that people want to maybe talk about. So, I don't want to talk about it too much. I did a segment about it. Went on for about a good 20 to 25 minutes. Kingdom came out just the past couple of days ago. I did a series review of Kingdom, all 6 episodes. Talked about it as a separate segment. Again, I don't want to get too deep into it. I'll just say that it was better than the last 2. But at the end of the day, it was kind of more of the same. It suffers from the same flaws. And like I say in life, better luck next time. They fell off the horse. They got dirty. Hopefully they'll get back on and maybe they'll figure it out next time they'll learn from their mistakes, or maybe they'll just get new people. Maybe that would be the better idea. I don't want to knock anyone, but maybe that would be for the best. You know, sometimes when you get like 3 chances up at bat, you know, for a Kingdom / Earthrise / Siege series, and all of those are whiffers, that's strike out for me. So let's hope we get something better next time. It was good, but it was far from great. Definitely better than anything I could do, but not something I would expect from all that hype and everything like that, especially when you're sitting on the side of my thing there. So we will see, right, B? Over there back. Last thing I want to mention also is so I'm also working on another podcast on the side. Be sure to go check that out. The Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. I think Aaron's in the chat here with us today. Check that out. Check out the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. It's a separate channel. We're talking about a whole bunch of different brands throughout the years of the 90s and the 2000s of toy brands. These are long visual form podcasts. Some of them are 2 hours or an hour and a half. Episode 1 is up right now. It's about Star Wars. There's stuff to learn from this. There's stuff to enjoy, even if you are not a Star Wars fan, because we get into the deep nitty-gritty of the creation of toys and the toy industry. We do some shout-outs. We educate you on who created what. And it's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Episode 2 will be coming in the future. This is not something that's going to be like a daily or a weekly thing. It's going to be something where we're going to record it. We're going to take the time to put the best possible little segments together. And you could check that out and enjoy and nibble it up. Yum, yum, yum. And last thing that I've been working on is this little thing. So I wasn't working on it specifically, but long story short, about 7 or 8 months ago, I was contacted out of the blue to do an interview for a magazine called Toy Robot. And they told me that they actually found out about me from a bunch of fans contacting them and telling them to contact me. So whoever those fans were, shout out to them. Hey, thanks a lot for directing them in my direction. I did a 5-hour interview with them. Imagine, 5-hour interview. And they made a full-page article just talking about my history with the brand and my history within the fandom and just doing all kinds of stuff. I'll be honest with you guys. When I read this cover, I was like, the Renaissance Man of Transformers? I had to look that up. I had no idea what a Renaissance Man was. And I was like, oh, a polymath, because Renaissance Man means polymath pretty much. Polymaths are, I don't want to get too deep into it. But so, anyways, I'm going to be part of this magazine. I'm on the cover there. Supposedly the pre-orders will be going up soon. I'll post it on my Twitter. And I guess on the Transformer Slag podcast Facebook group or stuff too. So if you are interested in picking up this stuff, it's going to be pretty cool. I got to see kind of the prototype version of the magazine for this issue. And there's a lot of really cool stuff in there. There's a lot of they talk about the history of Unicron. They interview also the female part of the fandom too. So one of the more bigger names in the Transformer female part of the fandom was interviewed also. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going on there. I really like it a lot. Very good magazine. A lot of cool stuff. Shout out to Eric and the crew who work on it. Very talented people. Not just because my mug is on the cover. Just really cool stuff. Just really cool. I dig it. It's not bad. Not bad. And speaking of really cool stuff, it's time for our reveal, shall we? So again, our sponsor is Symbiote Studios, the guys who make the plush, the pins, and the t-shirts, the official Transformer plush pins and t-shirts by Hasbro. And I'm wearing, again, Snake Eyes, who's in the movies right now. I've been rocking this for 3 weeks straight now, hoping that Snake Eyes does well. Come on, Snake Eyes, let's do well. And then, of course, we have the pins that they do. And because it's topical, the plush. So if you pick up Snake Eyes, he will come with a Snake Eyes pin. Nice metal pin there. And he comes with Timber, so you get the two together. So that's Symbiote Studios with their stuff. And there's Bumblebee from Symbiote Studios chilling in the back there. So if you're interested, they have their Snake Eyes one. They have their Transformer ones, $29.99. They're doing their, something from the Rangers in the near future. You're going to have to use a flute to summon that one, but we will see. But there's a big reveal today. So, Symbiote Studios is planning a exclusive for the convention season, assuming that conventions happen. And this same exclusive will be used later on as a web exclusive for that season of 2021. And that exclusive, which is a big boy, is going to be, I do not know. You tell me. But it's going to be a big one. So be sure to get something. It might be chaotic, needless to say. So that's that. That'll be your teaser for that one. But you guys know. You guys know. You guys are smart. You can figure it out. So that's more or less it for the news this week. Let's get into more or less the little things that I got this week otherwise. And then we'll get into the super chats and just relax for the rest of the evening. So I got Rescue Bot's Dino Bumblebee for $2. This guy's a big sucker. But the cool thing with Rescue Bot stuff is when you find it loose in the wild, they're always complete. He turns into a giant brontosaurus. You know, has all that auto-morph transform stuff. I dig it. It's cute. Again, can't go wrong with $2. Something I would have never bought, MSRP 100%, but who knows what you'll find when it comes to Rescue Bot stuff. We got a super chat from the legendary David Cabal. Can you ask Symbiote Studios to do Street Sharks? Brother, I wish they did Street Sharks. I believe Street Sharks right now is owned by Mattel because they were originally owned by Streetwise Entertainment, and I think Mattel is the one that owns the rights to it. I know that Super 7 at one point licensed out Street Sharks stuff. They did little PVC figures, but those actually didn't do very well, and they ended up in Five Below, which is like a store in the States. So I would love it. You know me, I love my Street Sharks. I have a beautiful collection of Street Sharks figures. That'd be really cool. Give me like a Ripster plush or something with a Ripster pin. I'd be down for that. But they'd have to deal with Mattel, and they really just deal with Hasbro. You know, they're a Hasbro kind of thing, but one could hope. But thank you for the super chat, David. Always appreciate it. So what else did we get? I also got Robots in Disguise 2015 Storm Shot. I love this guy. He's a really cool dude. I kind of like the Captain America of Transformer characters. Very red, white, and blue. On my Twitter and my Instagram, I have him with Captain America's shield. And he has a very Jay Decker head, very brave kind of head sculpt going on there. I dig him. He's a really tough one to get. So I was really lucky. There was a guy that was selling it online. I paid full price, but I really wanted to get him because he just never showed up. Later wave figure, didn't really have much of a distribution. I was kind of hoping he'd show up at, later on. Had a hell of a time trying to find him because I just really love the design and the colors. And well, unlucky me, did not show up. Last but not least, probably my most interesting purchase was the Bootleg Super Mario Transformer watch. And he's falling out of his packaging because Bootleg packaging is garbage. It's a Super Mario functioning watch and projector that transforms. So it's a Mario. And there it is on the back. And how he transforms. I bought 2 of these because when I saw these in my local Chinatown, I was like, I have to own these. This is amazing because you know me, I love my video game stuff. I love Transformers. So I own a second one here. This is the robot mode, by the way. Very simple. Has Mario's face there and he has that. But when you transform it, it transforms into a watch. And then the watch has a little piece that comes up here. And it's a digital watch. I just have the timer, the timer on there. So you have the little watch there. And it's also a projector, which projects 25 different images. I'm going to try to show you guys as best I can. Oh, there we go. It kind of shows on the video. It has all these different images there. There's Bowser. There's Waluigi, excuse me. That's supposed to be Peach, Princess Toadstool. It's kind of hard to see. And there's Donkey Kong, my boy. But yeah, so 20, it's really cool. I really dig this a lot. You wouldn't believe what I paid for it. $3 Canadian. It's like practically like $2 American. I was really excited to get those. When I saw those, I was like, oh my goodness, I got to own that. Because I don't really ever see, I don't know, maybe I'll be wrong, but I don't ever see Nintendo and Hasbro really playing ball and making Transformer crossover stuff. So, well, it's something that I'm just excited to get it, just because of how cool it is. Um, but yeah, either way, that's all I got really. Didn't buy a lot this week. That was just some cool stuff that I saw. Um, Ninjatron, I tried to put the watch on. I tried to, just out of curiosity. It's for a child. This won't fit my wrist. I think, honestly, like, hold on. I think if you you could kind of have it like hanging a little bit, but how did I do this? I remember I did this last time because I was trying out to do it. You could kind of have it like hanging a little bit, but I mean, doesn't exactly hold the best. Like, see, like that's the problem. That's how thick my wrist is. So it's not going to really close, unfortunately. But it's really cool. It's really cool. I like it a lot. The funny thing with this is this watch bootleg. I've seen it before done with other brands. They did like a Frozen one, and the same thing. It had the projector thing with Frozen stuff. So the fact they did a Mario one and the card back is so cool. I love it. I love it. I think it's super awesome. Anyways, but that's all I got. Nothing else. I mean, I did get like non-Transformer stuff in general, but it was mostly I found some Bionicle like parts and stuff. I got some comic book stuff, but nothing too major really that you guys would care too much to hear about. So that's more or less it. So let's get into the super chats. Yeah, duct tape. Yeah, maybe that. You know what? Or maybe even like just like a piece of like a scrunchy string or something. Maybe something that could close it together. It'd be so ghetto. It's like I'm not a watch person at all. I actually hate watches. When pagers started to become a thing, like when I was going into college, I was like, oh, thank God, because back in high school and even grade school, you always had a clock in your classroom. So I was like, oh, thank God, because I would never know the time otherwise. But I mean, like when I went to college, I needed to have a pager just because I was just not a watch person. Yeah, I got some Bionicle stuff. Nothing too major. It was one of the Borok, and it was the red one. And then I got, what's his name there? Oh my God, the one with the V fin. His name escapes me right now. Almost complete. Just missing some pieces. But when you find that stuff in the wild, you're lucky if it's not in pieces, let alone complete. But Bionicles, they usually hold together a lot better than Lego, so it's pretty cool stuff. Anyways, that's more or less it. Let's jump into some super chats. We'll take some questions, and we'll just relax the rest of the evening. We already did like 40 minutes of opening in terms of news and stuff. I do want to say one thing, and it kind of goes off a little bit from Transformers. You guys were talking about it last week, about the He-Man series. So I did take some time to go watch that. I'm not a really big He-Man guy. I used to watch it on and off as a kid when it was on TV. It never really appealed to me, He-Man. Like the one few episodes that I did see of He-Man was like the Roboto episode. And I was like, oh, I remember that one as a kid. And it's like, that's the one episode I remember. And that's why like I picked up Roboto all those years later, because I was just like, oh, hey, he's kind of a cool character. When I was told that he was going to be in this new He-Man series, and he was going to be in more episodes than he ever was in the original. Fun fact, Roboto was in one episode in the original, out of like the hundreds of He-Man episodes that exist. So, and he was, of course, in the 2K3 series. That one I did see and enjoy very much. But I wasn't a big fan of the original. My sister used to watch She-Ra, so I've actually probably seen more She-Ra episodes than I have He-Man. But Lou Scheimer and Filmation, I give them credit for all the hard work they did and stuff. And, trying to keep the animation in America. And that's why the animation was kind of, it was what it was for He-Man. So I was going into this, having a general understanding of He-Man. When you're a pop culture guy like me, all the beats anyways. I can name all the characters, even though I haven't watched most of the show. Because you just know who Merman is, and Man of Arms, and Beastman, and Stinkor, just because as a toy guy like me in that toy world, you see those things all the time, and you learn those names and those characters. It's kind of like, you don't have to see the movie Titanic to know all the stuff that people parody of it, because it's so much in the culture consciousness of that point. So I watched this series, And I'll be honest with you, it was okay. It was pretty good. I mean, I think that the complaints that people have, I could kind of understand in the sense that if you were expecting a very He-Man heavy kind of series, it wasn't that. It really was the Teela show, if you will. My only complaint with Teela is everything that I didn't like about it came more from a design standpoint. Why did you have to do the side shave thing with Teela? Okay, we get it. Is this old trope? First of all, number one, it's not like 2015 where people are still doing that stuff. Come on, you know? Like the old trope of like, oh, she's going to be different now because she feels betrayed, so she's going to shave her head out of defiance. Okay, that trope isn't, haven't been done to death. Come on, Kevin Smith, really? Maybe it's not Kevin Small. Maybe it's the designers who wanted to do that. But either way, I thought that was silly. Some of the other designs I wasn't too much of a fan of. But hey, getting this boy in more than one episode, sign me up. I loved Roboto, and he was the standout for me. If anything, that's what I got out of it. But otherwise, I mean, it was pretty good. I felt that it did channel a little bit of the old He-Man in the sense that, they were being tongue-in-cheek with He-Man with the dad jokes, and every episode started with a flashback to something that could have been potentially in continuity. So, sure. I will say this. If you're a He-Man fan and you're complaining about this, you got to be careful, guys, because what else are you going to get? Like when was the last time you guys had a series or a movie or anything? You got to really be appreciative for what there is, because that brand has really, been surviving with toys and nothing else for the longest time. And I do understand your defiance of it in the sense that it really was the Teela show, but at the same time, that's what they wanted to write. And like I said, my biggest complaint about it was designs. Visuals I wasn't a fan of. I thought Evil Lynn looked hot. I think she looked great. But Teela, it's like, oh man, why did you go with the shave hair thing? Come on. Like let's be real. Like when you're talking branding and stuff like that, do you really want to go that route? It's silly. But either way, everything else was fine, more or less. I understand there was a lot of people that were looking deeper into it from the cultural kind of stuff, but I can't be bothered with that. And at the end of the day, Kevin Smith, look, I like Clerks. I like Mallrats. Clerks 2 was kind of meh. He's a big DC guy. That's who he is, Kevin Smith. He's a DC guy. He likes Batman. He likes stuff like that. The second you go outside of that bubble, it's not his area of expertise, so don't be surprised too much if something isn't going to be on. Look at Kingdom. Kingdom was written by people that, no joke, I feel they watched a couple of episodes of Beast Wars before they tackled the script, and it's kind of the same thing here. So it is what it is. I just wanted to just talk about it because you guys asked me last week to check it out, and when I was encoding one of my episodes, I had a couple of hours, and so I kind of just binged through it. I'm curious to see what the second half is with Skelegod and all of that. Cringer was kind of cool. I like Cringer. I'm an animal person, so can't hate on Cringer. But that's just my take. It's my take. I could be wrong, but, it's just my take pretty much. So let's see. We got a super chat question from Trevor. What's up, Trevor? Nice to see you again here in the craziness of the Transformers Slag podcast live stream main event. And Trevor wants to know, hey, Proto Ba Weep Grana Weep Nini Bong. Same to you, my friend. How are the other cultures liking Kingdom? Did China get War for Cybertron, Siege, and Earthrise? What have you heard? Well, I'll tell you this, right? From what I've seen, supposedly the Japanese dub of War for Cybertron, Kingdom, and all of those before them is way better than what we got. So, I only saw Siege in Japanese. I didn't watch Earthrise in Japanese. But even in Siege, what was interesting in the Japanese one is all the names, not all of them, but most of the names were kind of turned to the Japanese version. So, there was a mention of Velocitron, and they called it Planet Speedia, which is oh, wow, that's a Galaxy Force Cybertron deep cut. But, that was still pretty cool. So I dug that they they did that kind of stuff. I don't have any word from China. I have like one connection in China. It's my bootleg guy, and that's about it. And he didn't really watch it because he's not really hardcore Transformer fan. He just kind of deals in general bootleggy stuff. That's why I kind of know how that world works. But I'll tell you this from my friends who were not big Transformer fans, but just casual Netflix binging nerdy guys who watch all the pop culture stuff. They liked it, but they don't really, they don't know what Beast Wars is. They don't. It's very hard to miss Scott McNeil, David Kay, Gary Chalk, and Ian Corlett and the crew when you don't really, are familiar with those voices. So when your first introduction to them is this stuff, it's different. So I didn't want to get too deep into Kingdom because I have a segment where I just go on for like 30 minutes. I literally, no joke, I wrote a whole bunch of notes and stuff when I was watching it my second time around, just to kind of like, oh, I liked this, but I didn't like that. But I liked this, but I didn't like that. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's something where I get a feeling it's the big thing with me, and I'll just say this, is I feel that what was the purpose? What was the point of Transformers Kingdom? Or just Earthrise and Siege, what was its goal, and was that goal achieved by Hasbro? Netflix, when they get these series, their goal is, hey, if we get this could be something that could convince people, A, to subscribe to our service, or B, to keep their subscription. So that's the only purpose from Netflix's point of view, because it's not like, if 1 million people watch the Transformer stuff or only 10 people watch it, they don't make more or less money from that in terms of monetization. There's no ads in between. There's no, commercials. So that doesn't make a difference for Netflix. The only point is for them to get that series is if, for people to go, oh, wow, there's Transformers, I got to get a Netflix account. Or, oh, wow, there's Transformers, I got to keep my Netflix account. Or in the case of Proto Man, oh, wow, there's Transformers, I'm going to use my mom's Netflix account because I don't care about Netflix and I only use it for the 1 or 2 shows that I might watch. Good old Netflix and saving codes and sharing codes. Anyways. But the point is that, so from the Netflix side, their goals were different. The Hasbro side, I'm just going like, anyone who's, look, think about it, just came out this week, right? So if all of us together, we went to Walmart right now and went, I want to buy some Transformer Kingdom toys because I just watched this Transformer Kingdom series. Man, I want to get Megatron. I want to get the other Megatron. I want to get Cheetor. I want to get Optimus Primal. I want to get, Dinobot. How many of those are actually on shelves? Very little of that. Almost like literally probably I'd have to say 2/3 of the characters that were in that show are never going to be on shelves. Yeah, the big boy, the Ark, he's going to be on shelves. The other big boy, the Commander Class Rodimus, wasn't even in it. So, I mean, spoiler for anyone who hasn't watched that, but, wasn't even in it. So that's not going to entice people to pick up that character from a casual standpoint. So what was the goal of Kingdom, really? Was it to sell product? Was it for Netflix to just keep their subscription services? I mean, going back to He-Man for a second, He-Man show comes out, you go to Walmart, there's all these He-Man Revelation toys that are in Walmart right now. They literally have store displays in the center aisles and end caps. So that's good marketing. You boom and a boom. You go to watch a show, you see the commercial, then you want to buy the cigarettes, or something and get hooked on it. So I don't know. That was a thing that also with me, I was wondering, just why didn't they do that? Why didn't they have some kind of synergy there? It's I could understand it's trying to get people into Transformers, but I've said it many times, the problem with binge culture, especially with Netflix, is people don't even remember what they watch. The general audience who just watched Transformers Kingdom because it was suggested in the trending of the home menu, they're going to watch that, and then they're going to watch He-Man, and then they're going to watch some anime, and then they're going to watch a couple episodes of Suits, and then maybe a David Copperfield special, and maybe some murder mystery thing. And before you know it, before that weekend's over, they don't even remember watching Kingdom. They don't even remember it because that's the binge culture of it. So it's very, 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 it's very confusing how they're going how they kind of wanted to tackle it. I feel that if they would have done it in an episodic manner, maybe one episode a week or something, it would have kept people coming back to the pool and then keeping it in their mind. I understand sometimes if you do only one episode a week, you might lose them. They'll see the first episode and then they won't watch the rest because they'll get bored or they'll forget about it. I understand that way of thinking too. But it's just, it's just the way that I look at it from a business standpoint and how they want to do that. And I really hope that in the future, that we have something that's tackled a little more strategically. Look, you can make fun of, Cyberverse all you want, but you watch Cyberverse stuff and the product is on the shelves of those related characters, usually. So, and hopefully when season 4 comes out, it's going to be the same thing with the Dinobots Unite and everything. So that's kind of the best way to do it, because at the end of the day, guys, Hasbro and Transformers is to sell toys. We're not here to keep Netflix subscription services and all of that. Even though that might be a goal that's going on behind the scenes and all the deals and the millions of dollars that are made there with making it an exclusive series. But I mean, just from a business standpoint. But yeah, so Stinkfist69 says, where do you think the story will go from here? Well, it's wherever Legacy is going to want to go. I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's like we see, Nemesis Prime and Galvatron getting reformatted. Nemesis Prime and Galvatron are two Armada characters. They're two Universe 1.0 characters. Maybe something happens. A reformatting of the reformatting by Unicron. And where does that lead? What does that do? I will say this. Unicron's trademark is coming up. We'll definitely get a Unicron something within the next year and a half or so. What that will be, we don't know. But it'll be something for sure. Man, we only have an hour left. We already burned through an hour. Jesus. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. There's a lot of weird stuff. And it's not Hasbro's fault completely in a lot of things. There's just, the world's in a weird place right now. A lot of stuff was getting pushed back and delayed, and everything kind of screwed things up in terms of when is stuff going to come out, stuff being in synergy with what's showing up on television or toy lines. I mean, that's kind of why, outside of the IDW comics, we haven't had a lot of Transformer content, and material. We've had just, this and that, a manga here, an episode here, it was mostly written material when you really think about it. It's just really just kind of, the written word and paper material has been that we've had for the past 2 years, outside of some scant, Cyberverse content. Because world's in a weird place. And supposedly we're opening up now. I still think it's a little bit of a rush, personally, to do that. I think we should, when we start doing, the whole convention thing and everything, hopefully it'll be when the world is really ready, when we could do it right, do it 100%, 110%. But people are, they're excited. They want to meet, they want to see their friends again. They want to do stuff. It's a crazy world right now. And, we're all trying to do our part. Being home on a Saturday night instead of running around, which I probably would normally be doing. We're all doing our part from spreading the big V in a lot of ways and encouraging people to continue to do that. So we'll see what happens in the future. I don't want to sound like a downer, but I really want everything to be perfect before we start really going crazy with everything. The con season, the hanging out with everybody and all of that. Because trust me, I would love to. You know me. I don't miss those shows. I didn't miss Baucons and I didn't miss TF cons. But it's something where we'll see what happens. It's a real case-by-case basis, and it's something that I feel like every week there's some new wrinkle There's some new twist. There's some new this. There's some new trending that. There's some new this. Oh, you got to read this. Oh, this now. Oh, the border's different here. Oh, this. Oh, you got to get your needles. That was a different. I had to give blood too. If you guys could see, it's green there. I gave blood recently also. But it's something where, because it's supposed to be there, but yeah. But anyways, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me see if there's any super chats during that rant. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm not paying attention to the chat. Only the super chats pop up in my face. They engulf the screen and go, hey, this guy's saying this. Tom Laney says here, yeah, in the States, cases are going back up. Variant here, variant there. See, man, like, I just want people to let's just get out of this, Let's just get out of this. Yeah, I was donating blood because I'm B-neg, so, I was donating my blood. Got a lot of blood in me. And then I stubbed my toe a couple days later and was bleeding from my foot because I was doing construction. I don't know if I posted it on Twitter. I built shelving for my comic book long boxes. So, because I have way too many comic books. So I had to build some shelving because it gets to a point where you stack your long boxes and they start to crush the ones on the bottom. So I started just building shelving. Just got pieces of wood, painted them white, boom, boom, boom. Made something really nice. Very simple. It's very simple, but very nice. Something nice for my little collection of books. Also gives me an excuse to kind of sort and go through my books and stuff. All my nice little books signed by all my nice friends throughout the years at IDW. Josh Perez, they won't let me give blood because I was born in Germany. Is that true? Josh, stop. That can't be true. That can't be true, Josh. That can't be true. They won't let you give blood because you're a chipmunk. That's why it's not compatible with humans. We're not trying to save a squirrel here or something, or whatever they are, the rodents, I guess, yeah. That's why they're not taking it. They look at your resume and they're like, this guy worked at Disney? I don't know if we want to give that blood. I don't know. Let's grab a super chat question. 100%. Yo, Proto, do you ever feel like Masterpiece figures are being overcharged even at high-end collector? I've talked about this in the past. I feel that the Masterpiece line is starting to get more and more expensive, primarily because the Chinese market makes up for a lot of the purchasing power for a lot of the higher end Transformer product. We had that show Larry, you're here too. We had that show not too long ago. The ACU HK show. We talked about it last week. And like, if you noticed all the items at that, Pacific Rim Hong Kong show, they were all high end items. Everything that's like $150, $200, $300. That's because that market just has the money right now. And Hasbro and Takara are taking advantage of that. They know, and I'll tell you I'll be honest with you. I feel like they're just going like, yo, China's got money now. They're printing money. One day they might not have money anymore. Let's take advantage of that before the wheels fall off. I think that's just my own personal take. I think they're just going like, these guys are just spending money like crazy. So if we could charge $300 for a Transformer instead of $200, and they're going to pay in large numbers because they're a population of 4.4 billion people that are really getting into Transformers and pop culture since 2007, then that's great for them. The only thing that sucks is the flip side of it is we suffer because if the Chinese, let's say they made a special price for the Western market. Oh, Masterpiece Dinobot, $250 to the Chinese market. Well, RMB is their currency, but and in America it's 150. The Chinese will catch on to that, and then they'll just buy from the distributors in America and import them, much like what we do with the Japanese distributors. So they want to keep it as a global universal price, and we suffer for it, unfortunately. That's just my take. but I feel that that's really what's going on, because I don't only see that in Transformers. I see that in the Hot Toys market. I see that in Sideshow Collectibles. I see that in the statue market. I see that in all the different stuff with all those different Chinese conventions and the crazy expensive product, that Ulti-Metal stuff. You know, the recent Rodimus statue that's like $900 that they put out there only for the Hong Kong, Filipino, and Chinese market. You know, because they know that China right now, you know, that ATM is spitting money. And if that ATM is spitting money, you're going to stand in front of it until it stops spitting money. You know, that's pretty much what they're doing. And then the second it stops spitting money, they're going to collect the dollars and then go back to another market. But until it stops doing that, man, you know, it's going to be a whole different story. Larry paid $350 Canadian for MP52 Starscream. Now imagine MP3 Starscream. I'm looking at him right now. I think I paid $120 Canadian at TFCon when he came out. So, I mean, that really shows the apples and oranges of how much things have changed, you know, in terms of, and granted, yeah, you could argue maybe more plastic. Plastic is more expensive, but there is another contingency going on there. That's a bit of a headache. So we'll definitely see what's going on with that. I also want to give you guys an update too. I just remembered now, the Transformers Heavy Metal cell phone game is going to be coming out soon in the Western market. So if you guys have an iPhone 7 and above, I think is the cutoff. I have to double check that. iPhone 7 and above, I don't know what it is for Android. My friend Julian, who's also play testing it, he uses Android, or he calls it his China phone, his bootleg phone. So I don't know what his cutoff is, but it's going to be launching soon, so keep an eye out for that. It's really fun. I've pretty much done almost everything that could be done on the beta, but when they start opening it up to other things too, and the more traveling around, I kind of like that they're waiting too, because, you know, when I thought about Pokemon Go and how everyone was gathering to play Pokemon Go as a group together around, like, you know, those Pokestops, it's the same thing with Transformers Heavy Metal. There's the stasis stations. You know, people are going to be gathering around those, so better to do it later on this series of games when hopefully COVID isn't a thing. Hopefully, you know. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Stinkfist69 wants to know, what do you think about Kingdom having multiple Scorponoks and why I thought it was an odd choice? Just typical Kingdom and Earthrise and Siege going, hey, how do we make more of these assets? You know, how do we just use these assets over and over? You know, they were probably like, hey, we got to have an army builder character. Might as well use Scorponok. You know, we're gonna just use someone. I don't know why they didn't bother to paint them. You know, do like the double punch colors, sandstorm colors. You know, McDonald's colors. You know, do the Scorponok McDonald's with the maroon and copper arms. You know, they didn't do that. I don't know why they didn't. Again, I don't want to get back into Kingdom. It's something where I watch it and I just go like, you know, all that wasted money. All that wasted money. Yes, Ninjatron, you will need a data plan to play the game because, like Pokemon Go, it's on the go. You know, they're both done by Niantic, so you have to have some kind of a data plan, unfortunately. That's just how it is with this kind of stuff. So if you're pay-as-you-go, it's not going to work, unfortunately. But that's it's something if you want to know, like, you know, the game's not out yet. Publicly, it's just for beta testers and stuff. But if you want to know how the game is, literally play Pokemon Go. Download Pokemon Go, and you're going to get number one, you're going to know through Pokemon Go where your special stasis stops are going to be, just because they share them with Pokemon Go. So you'll be able to activate that and go, oh, there's one near my house. So when you get the game, Transformers Heavy Metal, it'll be the same thing. I think there's actually more with Transformer Heavy Metal because they wanted to add some different stuff too. But you'll be able to compare the two because there's a lot of cool stuff there. But yeah, you have to have data. You have to have data, my friend. It's a lot of these games that are like that. You know, they have this kind of system where you have to do that because where are you going to get your internet from? You know, a lot of Asian countries, they have free internet everywhere they go. But you know what? Actually, though, Ninjatron, like if you go to like a Starbucks or something, usually those Pokestop kind of things are near Starbucks or certain stores, and you could use the internet from there, and then you wouldn't need to have data. I mean, there's ways to circumvent it. If you have a friend who has a really good data plan and they're a hotspot, then you could kind of hang out with your friend and you could use him as a hotspot. There's little tricks that you could do. There always is. So hopefully they'll open it up soon to everybody. They're still doing beta testing because there has been issues with it crashing. One of the big problems that they have is when you collect mini cons and you attach them to your main robot, whoever you choose as your main robot, the mini cons then walk behind your robot like pets, kind of, in a sense. So like if you're using Bumblebee and you attach one mini con here and one mini con here, when you're in the overworld and you're walking around Pokemon Go style, you're going to see Bumblebee walking, but the mini cons walk behind him. And what happens is now you have like 3 different 3D assets that are moving around. And then if a Decepticon pops up as another 3D asset, it slows everything down. Where with Pokemon Go, there was no 3D assets outside of the Pokemons popping up. And of course your own avatar, but it's not, the avatar was never really a 3D asset. It was more like a 2D asset that looked like a 3D asset, I guess you could say. But yeah, no Waspinator in the show. I have a theory about that and all those characters. I mentioned it in my segment. So I'll if you want to know, I did a long-winded explanation of why a lot of those characters were not there. And it's pretty much me making an excuse for the terrible writing, but it's me trying to make sense of things. Trying to put a square peg into a circular hole. Tom Laney wants to know, one of our Transformer Slag podcast members, how does Hasbro and Takara split the revenue when you consider a lot of us order from imports? Does Hasbro track those numbers? No, they don't. So they don't split the revenue. They obviously share the brand. They share the license. I mean, Aaron's here too. He could even chime in on that also. But they share it. It's something they own together. They have a partnership. Whatever Hasbro makes for their Hasbro bubble and stuff that's sold in that market, that's their money. Whatever's Takara that's sold there, that's their market. If you import if you buy a Takara product from Big Bad Toy Store, where did Big Bad Toy Store got it? They bought it from Takara, they bought it from a distributor, they bought it from someone in Japan. So that's Takara money. You know, importing it doesn't track like that at all. It's really just where you buy it from. You know, when you buy Transformer toys in Walmart, as opposed to buying them directly from Hasbro, you know, Walmart sells that inventory. They go, oh, wow, like Transformers doing well. And then they buy more inventory from Hasbro, and that's how Hasbro makes their money. So that's kind of how they tackle that. But Takara Tomy, or Takara back then in 1983 when the partnership first started, they share it with Hasbro. It's a thing they do together, but the income, it's not an income split. It's that your Hasbro product that sells, that's your money. Your Takara product that sells, that's your money. You know, like, it's a little different. I'm trying to think if there's any other modern examples of that, because, like, I mean, Takara and Hasbro have a few brands that they share. Like, you know, Beyblade's another good example, where that's a brand that has a Tomy side of it. Do I have any Beyblade stuff around? I don't have any packaging around, unfortunately, of Beyblade stuff, because I usually have like packaging. I use it as examples on the show, but I don't have any Beyblade packaging around. It's all in the upstairs. But you know, Beyblade, Hasbro brand, but also in the Japanese side of things was a Tomy brand. So there's all kinds of cool stuff like that going on. But they share. You know, they share that brand, but any Beyblade stuff that's under the Hasbro emblem, under their Burst line, that's Hasbro's money. Any Tomy, Takara stuff that's sold of Beyblade that's on their side, that's their money. You know, that's kind of how they do it. Hope that kind of answers your question. I don't know if Aaron's here. He probably could jump in too and give a little bit more of the official stamp of it, but that's the best of my knowledge of it. Aaron obviously was on the cutting room floor of that kind of stuff. We got a gold super chat from the legendary Joseph Ritter. And Joseph wants to know, why are all the Transform movie and cartoons terrible after Beast Wars? Will we ever get a 20-plus cartoon season again? Snake Eyes retirement delayed. Um, so I'll go into the first part. I just like that. So, well, it's, you know what it is. It's the market changing. Beast Wars came out during the 90s when, Batman the Animated Series told companies like, hey, you could make a show that's dark, very, almost adult oriented, written for an older market, tell compelling stories, and then you could turn around and Kenner could sell millions of Batman toys that look nothing like on the show. Yeah, you're going to have vanilla. Well, this is the wrong vanilla Batman. This is my vanilla Keaton Batman. But I always keep that on my little display there. But, like you could sell a whole bunch of Ice Attack Batman, Deep Dive Batman, all these Crime Attack Batman, blah, 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 blah. There, Aaron said I basically have it down. Thank you, Mr. Archer. I was hoping I was right. Fingers crossed. But you would have all of that and it could still sell to kids while you still have a dark show. So because of the success of Batman the Animated Series and then the episodic storytelling, which has never been done since, of the X-Men Fox cartoon, previously on X-Men, tell me one cartoon that isn't Japanese anime that every single episode gives you a recap of the previous episode because it's an episodic storytelling format. I have yet to see that since. Like, they just don't do that. You might have had Power Rangers with today on Power Rangers, but that's today. They don't care about yesterday. They don't go like, yesterday, Jason fought this, so they showed that you could have this intelligent writing, this intelligent kind of stuff, and then kids will still go out and buy the Toy Biz X-Men figures, even though this show was very much a deep cut of writing that everyone could appreciate. So that was the 90s, and Beast Wars was born out of that too, because man, Mainframe Entertainment was just killing it with Reboot and Shadow Raiders and Beast Wars. I mean, look, you could even knock Beast Machines. Beast Machines was weird with character development and designs, but they tried to write at least a good dark story, and those voice actors were still those amazing voice actors that we knew and loved. So it's something that when you get into the 2000s, now we have the anime influence. Pokemon comes around, and now it's telling studios, whoa, now we're not going to do deep, compelling stories or anything. We could import anime and then import product. And look, you import the anime, you don't have to make the work because all you got to do is dub it and edit it, so in case someone pulls out a gun or something, or something's not made for Western television. And then you import the toys and localize it, change the paint schemes, make it work for price points, make the card backs different if it came in a box or whatever. And Pokemon was the best example of that. They took the Tomy Pokemon PVC Mon collection, or the Monster collection stuff. They repainted it and repackaged it through Hasbro at the time. They imported the cartoons through 4Kids Entertainment, and we can't deny the millions and millions and jillions and gillions of dollars that were made from that. So when they did that, you don't think everyone else was like, oh snap, we got to get in on that. Hey, let's bring Digimon, import the cartoons, take the little Digimon figures, import those. Yeah, there were some original toolings and sculpts too that were made too for that also. Pokemon had some original sculpts too for the Western market, but in general, they imported all this stuff. They imported the card game from Digimon, and then they, rinse and repeat. They did the same thing. Monster Rancher, Jake the Time, what was it called? Something the Time Detective, Flint the Time Detective. They were just importing anime like crazy. Dragon Ball, the first couple waves of Dragon Ball toys that were done by, God, who had the license at the time for the Dragon Ball toys? Was that Irwin? Was it Irwin? Who had the distribution? But they were taking the Super Battle Collection Dragon Ball toys, which literally had 2 points of articulation and removable clothing, and directly importing those. By Irwin was, I think it was Irwin. I have a carded Piccolo that I kept carded because I already owned the Japanese one. It was just so much easier. So much easier. And yeah, they made some, no, I think it was Bandai of America. Oh man, now it's going to bother me. Anyways, someone correct me if I'm wrong there. Had to be Bandai of America, now that I think about it, because it was Bandai that did the Super Battle Collection. But was Irwin a distributor? I don't know. Anyways, I'm making myself think too much about things. But yeah, It's just that's the primary reason why shows later on have been kind of more simplified, because the market has changed. Whatever is successful will always be emulated. When Ninja Turtles was successful, what do you think came born out of Ninja Turtles? Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars, Cowboys of Moo Mesa, Mummies Alive, Snailians. What am I forgetting here? What was the one there with the dogs that were anthropomorphic that had armor? Was it the canine dogs? Anyway, SWAT Cats. Trying to think of another one here. Extreme Dinosaurs. Like all of those that just came out of nowhere. Tons of them. Dinosaucers. There's another one. Dinosaucers. But yeah, like that. I hope that kind of answers it. It's just that it's a different era now. Now it's ADD era. Now it's kids can't watch something for more than 10 minutes era. Cyberverse episodes are 10 minutes. Toys are three-step transformations. Where's my 3-step Bumblebee? It's like they're 3-step transformations now. It's kind of a different era, unfortunately. Where are we at? Muscle Mutts. Was that it? Mighty Ducks is another one. Yeah, I love the Mighty Ducks one, though. I have a whole bunch. Wild Wing was my boy in Mighty Ducks. The goalie was the leader. Yo. We are the Mighty Ducks. Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa, man. The code of the West. Let me tell you something. I'm a big 90s toy collector. You should see my 90s collection of stuff. It is cray-cray. It is crazy. Aaron Archer owes me a Nefertina Mummies Alive figure. That's mine. Sending that to me. Previously on Proto Man. I hope not. Let's just move forward. Let's not look back. The only time we look back is when we're trying to educate ourselves on something. Otherwise, we should always be moving forward in life. That's how it always should be. Proto, as a collector of video game merch, do you think that Jack specific Nintendo Sonic? What did you collect? Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, because it's all getting moved as people are messaging. Proto, as a collector of video game merch, do you collect the Jack specific Nintendo, Sonic, and Mega Man stuff? What do you think of Fully Charged? So yes, I collect it all. Literally collect it all. The Sonic the Hedgehog stuff, no. The only stuff of Sonic that I've ever bought, I've never been a big Sonic guy. I played, I wasn't a Sega kid. I was a Nintendo kid. Like the Genesis kid during the console wars was that weird kid. I've always said that. Sorry, Lee J, if you're in the chat. My buddy Lee J, maybe he's in the chat. But the point is that, but once in a while, like I'll pick up a Knuckles figure if I find it cheap or something with the Chaos Emeralds, because I always thought he was a kind of a cool design. I really liked Sonic Boom. I thought that was a really good series. Obviously, the video game was kind of, garbo, but I liked the show, so I picked up some of the figures from that because I saw them really cheap. I like Styx as a character. She's always been kind of funny. And Mega Man, yeah, I bought it all. Mega Man stuff, any of the Jax Mega Man stuff, I bought it all, because when are you ever going to get a Quick Man figure? If Jax is going to do it, no one else is going to do it. So it's the same thing even with this. Like, if it wasn't for Jax, we'll never get an articulated Larry Koopa, or an articulated, like Mario with, the SH Figure Art Super Mario line didn't do well. They did 3 releases, well, 4 if you count the repaints, and then it just got canceled. So, the only way we're going to get articulated figures with accessories of any of these characters is going to be from Jax. That's the only way it's going to happen. And, thank you, Jax. If it wasn't for you, Now make me Roy Koopa and Wendy. Let's finish the Koopa kids. Let's look at the super chats. Not a lot of super chats today. There's not a lot of super chats. We got a few super chats, but not a lot. Is there a Sonic Man figure? No, there isn't. No, they didn't. It's a shame because now they're not. Oh, I forgot to answer the second part of your question about Fully Charged. Fully Charged, I was on the fence with it. Fully Charged suffers a lot from a lot of these CG shows that are made. Like, anyone who saw Pac-Man and his Ghostly Adventures, if you look at Fully Charged, they're almost the same kind of show, taking these assets, trying to modernize them, not really, throwing some Easter eggs of like, hey, remember this vintage thing? Hey, remember this vintage thing? But really they are their own things and something fresh, which I could respect. But using those assets, playing in that sandbox, and not really doing anything spectacular. They're doing something different, but not something exciting. And I mean, when I looked at like Fully Charged, I was just seeing like someone who sat down and watched episodes of the Flintstones with the Great Gazoo, I think his name was, and just going like, hey, Fred Flintstone has this little alien that talks to him. Why don't we have it that Mega Man has this little guy that talks to him that's voiced by the guy who did Meat from Ultimate Muscle, with the same voice, so he sounds like Mickey from Rocky, I was like, okay, sure, why not? I watched it. It was different. I bought the comics afterwards because the comics of Fully Charged were kind of the true conclusion to the TV series because they never gave a good conclusion. So they did a comic book series by Boom Studios. I bought those. Take care, Aaron. But it's just, at the end of the day, it was something that I was hoping that it would be something nice and new. There was a lot of, put the little Mega Man music from Mega Man 2, have the little pixel art stuff to kind of throw it back also. But in general, I wasn't really feeling it, unfortunately. And I didn't see any of the toys at all in Canada. So I don't know how the distribution was, but that means they didn't show up. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some Canadian, but where I was, and I go to Walmarts and Toys R Us's all the time, they did not carry Mega Man Fully Charged product. So I don't know how that worked. Take care, Stinkfist69. Thanks for coming, man. But yeah, like it was what it was, and the same problem happened with Pac-Man and his Ghostly Adventures. Kind of the same kind of direction they went, and no surprise the success was the same, which was not very good, unfortunately. BTS has the new Mega Man figures that you could build. Yep, those are the Kotobukiya stuff, which is really good. I like the X series. Was it Flame Mammoth one? Has very Proto Man kind of colors, so I bought an extra one, and one day I'm going to give it to my model kit guy, and we're going to sculpt some little shades and make a yellow scarf so we could have a Proto Man X. Never been done. OC character, do not steal. But yeah, oh man, we only have half an hour left. Holy moly, it has been just bumping. Let's see. Someone asked here, have you upload videos on the new channel? Do I need to hit the bell? Always hit the bell. The bell notifies you when there's new stuff that's put up. The new channel, here, I'll just pull it up for people here. The Toy Armada channel. We only have 2 segments up. We just have the trailer and then episode 1 up right now. Those we're going to do periodically. Those are something, maybe once a month, once every second week, we're going to be doing those. Those are something that hopefully we'll do more frequently, but because they're long form, they're 2-hour segments, they're very visual based. They take longer to do, and we kind of want to space it out. We're going to talk Transformers, we're going to talk Batman, we're going to talk Jurassic Park, we're going to talk, all these other brands, Beyblade, Pokemon, all the development of these brands with people that made those toys. So it's really cool to hear the behind the scenes of how a lot of that stuff get made. Let's see. They should make a Transformers Among Us. Well, it would just, there's a lot of bootlegs of Among Us already on the Android side of things. So, let's see. Let's scroll up to some of the super chats. Stinkfist69 said the voice actor from War for Cybertron was terrible. It was okay. It was, Black Arachnia was feasible. Some of them were passable, but a lot of them were kind of, I don't know. JR Mino with the super chat for 125 Filipino pesos. Good morning from the Philippines. Good morning, Jay. How you doing, my friend? Hey, Proto, what's for dinner? Making this a regular thing already. So what is for dinner tonight? So, here's what's awesome. Right now, it's quiet. It's quiet in the Proto Man house. A significant other of mine is out at a Korean place with a friend, and I told her, you better bring me back something. So, needless to say, I'm going to probably be having Korean tonight. What it's going to be, I don't know. Hopefully some japchae, perhaps. I love japchae. I haven't been to a sit-down restaurant in almost 2 years. So I've been a good boy. So hopefully we'll get something out of it. But that's what I'm probably going to be having tonight when I'm done with you guys around 10 o'clock. I'll have me some japchae or whatever she decides to bring back. It'll be really radical. What did I eat before? I'm a healthy eater kind of guy. In case you know, some kind of fit and thin. I like to have lean turkey breast. Today I also had chicken, but chicken breast and I just put it in a bun. That way it's just easier to eat, you know. Put it in a bun, have some red peppers with it for some extra kick, some flavor. Helps with digestion too if you have some spices. And top it off with cranberry juice. Good for the prostate. I always think about, I'm a very healthy eater kind of guy. Always been like that my whole life. I don't drink. A lot of people, some people know this, and maybe Ninjatron knows. I don't even drink. Like I'm someone that, you know, a lot of people, I would go to TFCon, they're like, hey Proto Man, I love what you do. I want to buy you a drink. And I go, sure thing. Hey bartender, get me an orange juice. And then I feel so sorry for them because an orange juice costs way more than any beer at a bar. Yeah, so never been a fan of drinking. It's just a whole bunch of calories that are just pointless in a lot of ways. Princeton says, later Proto, thanks for the stream. Keep jamming. Thank you, Princeton, for swinging by, and thank you for the super chat, brother. Thank you. You should have asked a question too before we go. Yeah, you should have asked a question too, Princeton. But it's cool, man. Thank you again. What someone wrote here. Where was it I saw? Did you see Black Widow yet? No, I did not. I did not see. All of the Marvel stuff, I will get around to it. It's just, I just don't have time. Like it, and it's not that like, oh, I don't want to see Black Widow. I do. I'm curious. I want to see it. It's just, I have to like, you know, catch myself in the moment when I have free time and go, oh, I got 2 hours. Let's go in front of the TV in my living room and sit down and do that. I'm a very time management kind of guy. I go to work, I come home, I record the podcast, I, you know, do my little things, have dinner, you know, make everything, be social. And it's one of those things that when I find a moment where it's like, oh man, I actually have like an hour free and I don't have to do cleaning or I don't have to do something or I don't have to like fix a transformer or write an article or do some research or do some editing. That's when I kind of slide in some entertainment. Every time I do the podcast and I encode it and then upload it, boom, I know I got an hour free. And so what do? I pull out the old iPad or something and then I start catching up on anime I like or reading comic books, you know, that I like physically of comic books that I buy. So it's, you know, a 2 hour thing. Like the He-Man thing only happened because I did the Kingdom review, which was a big chunky edit and everything and then encoding and then uploading. So I had like a good 2 hours when it was uploading. So I just sat down and burned through all of He-Man. So that's kind of how that happened because I remember you guys were talking about it and I was like, you know what, I'll watch it because I was intrigued. I'll try to catch it at some point. You know, someone says here, after hearing about what the lawsuit with Black Widow, crazy, I probably would have it, never watched it. Well, you know what's going on with I saw that too, it's trending and everything. Look, if that's what was in the contract, like contractually, then, you know, Scarlett deserves her say. If it wasn't in the contract, then it is what it is. I mean, look, the Black Widow movie, if I remember correctly, they were talking about it as early as the first Avengers movie. So, you know, you can't blame the studios in a sense because look what happened with the world. Me personally, this is just my hot take. This is my hot take, and I know people will hate it. I think no movies should be in theaters right now. At the same time, I don't think no movies should be coming out. You studios want to make your money. Wait until the world is back to normal, and then you could release all those movies, and everyone could go to theaters, and everything will be great. But no, man, they got to make their money. That's the problem. They're going to figure out any way they can. If they have to literally reborn video stores and rent out DVDs of Black Widow to somehow make money, they would do that. Like, that's just how bad it is right now. If the Big V would have happened in the 90s, it's the same thing. Like, they would have just, like, made a mass direct-to-video market campaign or something. They're going to just keep doing what they're going to keep doing to make money. But me personally, I would have just pushed it all off. I would have waited so that we could all enjoy it properly. You know, the way that I see it, you know, look, we got Rise of the Beasts coming. You know, I'm really invested in that movie because I got to see so much of how the sausage was made behind the scenes. So I'm really excited to see that movie because I got to see so many scenes recorded in person live that I want to see what made the cut and what didn't. Because many years ago, they recorded the X-Men Age of Apocalypse movie in Montreal in the mall next to my house that I grew up, and I got to see that recorded live. And when I went to go watch it in theaters, that whole scene got cut out. It's the scene, like, you know, where the kids go to the mall and it's the 80s and stuff, and they cut most of it from the movie. But so it was really fascinating seeing that. How, you know, like, what gets cut, what doesn't, because they spent like 3 days recording that scene. Now, Rise of the Beast, 50% of the movie is going to be in Montreal, aka New York City, as it's being called. So I really want to see what is going to be in it and what isn't, because I was there for like weeks watching this stuff happen. People have been following my Twitter. They saw, you know, like, so I really want to see that. And I want to see that in theaters in Montreal with all my friends, all my crazy friends that we go to see the movies with. And that would be hype. Not being able to do that, that sucks. So if you told me, Proto, you could watch it now, but you're going to have to watch it streaming, or you're going to have to watch it in a weird kind of scenario, or we wait a year or 2 years and then you could watch it proper when all this craziness is over, I rather wait. I'm patient. I rather wait. I rather do it right than do it half-assed. That's how I am. Sorry for the rant, but that's just how I would do it. Let's see. We got a super chat here from JM Autobot. Just for fun, if you could design a new powered-up version of Rodimus, what would it be like? Well, they did 2 great versions of that. They did the first, the one that never got released, which was Super Rodimus, which was supposed to be part of Battlestars, which was like a combiner that almost looked like Inferno in a lot of ways, where Micromaster Rodimus would get a piece of the Matrix and it would be Super Rodimus, and then he hit part of his thing could combine with Star Convoy and make a larger version. And all of that tooling in the end ended up getting used. Oh man, you probably can't even see it, but my Brave collection, Duke Fire from Jay Decker, had apparently like the Super Rodimus stuff, you know, engineered onto it. And then of course we got the Power of the Primes one. And then of course, if you want to go third party, Protector had a Super Rodimus kind of powered up version. But how would I do it? I don't know. I think Rodimus is already a powered up version. You know what I mean? I really like Hot Rod, and powered up version would be Rodimus. How do you then make a powered up version? You know what I would want? Make him go from how he looks of his animation model to the Obari design, where it's all jacked and the big spoiler and the spiky stuff. That's my Rodimus. Give me Obari's, you know, Studio Ox Rodimus. That's the one that I would like. But that's like a powered up on a powered up, you know? Double powered up. Yeah, but then again, when you think about it, I mean, we got Rodimus in Super Link, aka Energon, and his powered up was combining with Hot Shot. Hotto Shotto. But, you know. Someone asked here, why do you put still images for my videos? You know what? I've answered this so many times. Like, the reality is that it's a podcast. Like, I record the segments as audio, and then I just include one still image just so people know what the topic is about. More so for the thumbnail, if anything. It's not even for the actual video itself. It's more just for the thumbnail, so it looks different than the past ones. I always hate, guys, like, I love listening to podcasts off of YouTube, but I hate it when you listen to podcasts off of YouTube and the thumbnail is exactly the same for every single one. So you don't even, there's no like difference. Yeah, you know, you could read like, you know, the title, but sometimes the title gets cut off because it's a long title, because half of the name of the podcast is in the title. So I just try to keep it simple. I try to keep it simple for you guys. That's how I'm able to do it daily. You know, doing a daily podcast is not easy, especially when you have a 9-to-5 job too. So I'm grateful for anyone who understands that it's just easier to shoot up some images and call it a day as opposed to doing a whole process. And I mean, I hate to say it, but it works. People still listen. They enjoy. It's not about the visuals. You could find those photos. They're everywhere. It's about the words. It's about what's said that's most important. Thorny Green with the super chat wants to know, do you think Hastek will ever look at outside engineers' designs to put licensed product like they did when they went to Japan when the franchise first started? They do all the time, though. Like, let me explain something to you. Like, there's a lot of different Transformer brand, like merchandise that we got throughout the years that was outside designers and engineers that came in. Everyone loves Transformers Animated. Best example. All of that designing and engineering of Transformers Animated that people love that we've never seen afterwards, they were all outside Hasbro guys. Some of those guys work for third-party companies now because they just came in, they did their thing, and they left. Draxhall Productions, which did a lot of Beast Machines and what would have been Transtech. Third-party company that came in, did their thing, designers, engineers, and got out. The guys who did Rescue Bots, some of those designs were done by a guy in Toronto. Oh, what is his name? I keep forgetting. He's a tattoo artist. Really talented, super nice dude. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name? Really cool dude, too. I think it's, oh my God. Ninjatron, do you know who I'm talking about? He has a tattoo parlor in Toronto's Pacific Mall. He was the guy who designed Obsidian for Beast Machines and then later on did Rescue Bot stuff. Oh my God, what is his name? Maybe anyone who's been to TFCon will know what I'm talking about. But, you know, like, there's a lot of guys that were outside guys that kind of came into Hasbro, did some stuff, and then left. So, and that's why you get those unique designs. Like, there's Obsidian there, but that's the Universe one. Marvin, thank you. Thank you, Ninjatron. Marvin Morano? Something like that, eh? Super nice dude. Love that dude. Super friendly. Every time I go to Pacific Mall Chinatown, I swing by to say hi. He has like a DTOF in his tattoo parlor of all the toys he's ever worked on professionally. It's pretty cool. Really cool dude. Shout out to him. Awesome guy. But yeah, like those are dudes that, you know, there's always these third-party dudes that kind of come in and design. So they've done it for years. I mean, any of those spin-off lines, Marvel Transformers, Star Wars Transformers, that's not the basic Takara Hastek crew of people that are designing those toys. That's why they look so different, feel so different, because that's the outside. And that's where, you know, with animated, you got a unique kind of take, a unique kind of design, and people love it. And then you got the Marvel Star Wars stuff and the Transformer Star Wars stuff that's kind of meh. Yeah, it's Morano, something like that, eh? Sorry, Marvin, if you see this and I forgot your name, but really, really talented dude. Really salt of the earth, as I like to say. Really good guy. Really good dude. Yeah, Ultra Primal. He's based in TO. If you go to Pacific Mall, you know, like how you have like the shops on the outskirts of like the maze, if you will. He used to be on the second floor, but now he's on the first floor. There's a tattoo parlor. If you go into the tattoo parlor, you're going to see he has his display and he has like all his stuff. He's a real cool dude. He designed Obsidian. He designed a whole bunch of Transtech stuff. He designed a whole bunch of Rescue Bots designs. He did also, I want to say, what's the one that has GPS from Beast Machine? Snarl, I think his name. That was the trademark they used for it. Was it Snarl? It's the one that's GPS. That's a lion. I think it's Snarl. Because I'm also thinking probably of the repaint, but you know, there's so many great ones. Protoman, have you ever heard of or met Raksha? I know of Raksha. I never met her. She kind of, I don't want to say burned bridges, but she kind of didn't want to deal with the fandom around the time that I came into the online, not the online fandom, the physical part of the fandom. Like, I was around when she was around in the 90s, but she was going to Baucons before I was going to Baucons. So by the time I started going to Baucons in 2001, she had already said, peace, you know, I'm done, with her big snake avatar. That's literally the name of her big yellow boa constrictor. She made quite an impression on David Kaye, let's put it this way. Years later, David Kaye still remembers her. It's like, I remember a woman with a giant boa constrictor telling me that she absolutely hates everything I've done to the character of Megatron. And that like stayed with him for the rest of his life. So she's an interesting cat, let's put it this way. But I'm pretty sure she's a nice lady. She just really, really, really likes Decepticons from Generation 1. And anything that was made afterward, she hates Beast Wars. She hates all of that. So she's from a different era. Different era. But one of the very first fangirls. So you got to give her credit there. Got to give her credit there. Which Baucon was she at that you saw? Because it was definitely not anything post-2001. Unless she was there and I had no idea. Ninjatron. Which Baucon were you at? Which Baucon were you at? I don't remember. Unless I'm forgetting something and I'm a terrible human being. Anyways. Michael Butcher with the super chat. Thank you, Michael, for the super chat. Are you getting any of those Super 7 Transformers? What do you think of them? For sure I'm getting Bludgeon. 200% I'm getting Bludgeon. From the previous wave, I picked up Bonsaitron because I was like, oh man, that's Action Master awesome. I kind of look back now and go, I probably should have got the other ones because 99. Well, that explains it. There you go. That was before I went. 2001 was my first one, looking at my pamphlet. But getting back to your question, Michael, it's just, I look back now and go like, because now I forgot that with Super 7, with their ultimate stuff, when they retire them, like when the pre-order closes, that's it. Then you have to rely on the secondary market to get them. So it's, I kind of regret not getting the Optimus and the others, because if I do want to get them later, I'm so worried they're going to be like $100 a piece, which is already double their original MSRP of $55. So, now I bought Bludgeon, but I'm going like, maybe I should cancel my Bludgeon order and then get the full set of 4. Because Trax is speaking to me too, because it has that Action Master flavor to it. Like the Megatron, I feel like I could live without that one. The extra accessories are nothing too special. Like a Kremzy accessory that was like included with like so many Megatron toys. The flask, okay, more, Return of Optimus Prime. But we'll see. We'll see. Like I'm still kind of sitting on it a little bit. I love what they do, Super 7. I buy so much of their stuff. So much of their stuff. The articulation on those Super 7 figures are crazy. There's a video, I think it's Mike, who is the senior product manager at Super 7. He had the Optimus Prime prototype and he was showing the range of motion. It's way better than the RED stuff. Let's put it this way. I messed with RED Soundwave, my friend's RED Soundwave. Those ones are, I don't know. I'm going to get the RC. Maybe that one will be good. But I mean, the Super 7 ones, there's like bicep swivels and there's like, ankle swivels and stuffs too. I mean, obviously some of the G1 designs from RED, they're a little more stuck because of their blockiness. I didn't get the RC one yet, the Prime one, so maybe that one's better. I want to get that one, but haven't seen it in the wild yet. We shall see in the future when it pops up, but we shall see. Someone asked, will Baucon ever make a comeback? Oh, it will. It will. There's plans for Baucon to make a comeback. It won't be the same Baucon from the past where it was, branded with Hasbro, big box sets, big bombastic conventions. But it's going to come back. It's going to be similar to that kind of vibe of TFCon where it's a fan-run convention. And much like TFCon, it's just going to have to grow from the humble beginnings and hopefully get into something bigger. I kind of hope, this is just my hope, that while TFCon will be the more third-party kind of fan-made convention and it keeps growing in that direction, the new Baucon, which is a bunch of very talented people behind that, the Lucas brothers, Hydra, Brett, those guys, when they work on that con, I really hope that it kind of goes more of an official direction. I hope that they kind of work with Hasbro and try to build something professionally. Even if they get one exclusive, if they just get one exclusive, just some carded whatever, that would be better than nothing. If they could just get one official, I don't know, they get a, what's brand new, probably, we'll get a Kingdom Halloween Horicon Cheetor Deluxe class, and they make 1,000 units, and the convention has, X amount of people, I'm pretty sure they could do fine. But, that's what I kind of hope that they do with the new Baucon. It was supposed to happen, but then COVID happened, and that kind of all just put that on the side for now. But Baucon will come back. It's just, like I said, better to do it right than to do it half-assed. That's the best way to do it. We got 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. Man, we got 10 minutes left. Let's get the super chats in while we still got the 10 minutes left. Before we're done, also, I just want to say, yo, Symbiote Studios. Those guys are great. And get ready for that. Just want to give a shout out to the sponsors in the meantime. Because they're so good to me. They're so good to me. They send me cool stuff. I wouldn't be able to have Bumblebee sitting behind me judging me. Going, look at that moron. That guy needs a frickin' haircut. That bald motherfucker. Let's see. JT Prime 17 just found 2 listings of a Dark Energon Megatron and a G1 Cliff Jumper. So it's probably going to be a Megatron with a black repaint, and then it's going to probably be a Bumblebee that's been retooled from the G1. Excuse me, a Bumblebee retool that's been done into Cliff Jumper. That's what I think, probably. Hopefully we'll have some images and information, and then I'll probably do a segment on it. It would be silly just to do a little blurb, but we'll see what happens. We will see. We will see what happens. You have disembarked to college and left your Transformers back home. The wise decision. I would not bring them with to college. I have an old saying, and it comes from Dragon Ball. When you're being social with people, here's a little Proto Man 101 for success with the ladies. Just like in Dragon Ball. In Dragon Ball, you hide your power level. And what I mean by that is in Dragon Ball, characters suppress their power level, so when they fight people, they get the upper hand. With Transformers, you want to hide your power level. You don't need to have that stuff, on your shoulder. Be who you are, wow them for who you are, and after they fall in love with you, then go, hey, by the way. And it's too late at that point. So that's what I would do. Better to leave them at home. Not to mention some, idiot might touch your stuff. Hey, bro, this is really cool. Oh, I used to have this as a kid. Snap, So you don't need that. You don't need to go to jail because you murdered some guy over a broken hot rod. You never forget your high school years. Anyways, that image is very horny. Drum roll. I bought the Super 7 figures. Somewhere, Brian Flynn, head of Super 7, is giving an evil smile. They look really good, Brian. Excuse me, Brian. They look really good, Joseph. God damn. They look really good, those Super 7 figures. Again, I regret not getting all of the Wave 1 ones because I see what happens with the Ninja Turtle ones. They do the Ninja Turtle ones, they go up for pre-order, and then the pre-order disappears. And then you see the secondary market, and it's like, hey, you want Muckman? Yeah, I understand he was originally $35. How about paying $120? And it's like, ugh. So I'm worried about the secondary market because they haven't shipped out yet, the Wave 2 stuff. So I'm still going maybe I could slide it in and get them all. And now that they're doing payment plans, maybe that would be the best. Yes, I gave dating advice. Take it from me. I kind of know what I'm talking about with that. I don't want to sound arrogant with it, but needless to say, I was able to live this world, this life, in high school, and be very successful with the opposite sex. Let's put it this way. But there was a way to it. There's a way to do it, You don't literally walk around like this, Hey, ladies, how you doing? So did you see that episode of Dragon Ball yesterday? You don't do that. You know how many people would break your finger if they touched my collection? You know what? like that's a big reason why too. I don't suggest people even like when they bring stuff to work, and have it on display, because you're always gonna have some guy. And Transformers are very, fidgety kind of products that are, especially Generation 1 stuff. So it's you don't want it. You don't want to get yourself in trouble. Let's see. We had a question somewhere that popped up too, because we got 7 minutes left. Jeez. Someone was asking about GPS. I saw. Why is it that clear plastic is considered to be so scary to transform to collectors? If it is true, are they more fragile? It's not that it's clear plastic that's fragile. It's how the plastic is casted in general. Because GPS, well, because you mentioned GPS, how that's done is they take plastic and then they put these little metallic shards in it that give the impression of the color of gold or bronze, like BPS as we call it. And what ends up happening is, because those little metallic shards are in there, over time oxygen gets in, expands, contracts, and then the plastic gets brittle. I wish I had my bag of GPS parts and I just break it on camera. But so that's what happens with that. When we're talking clear plastics, what happens instead is, instead of having like a solid piece of, plastic, you have a clear plastic, which in order to achieve that, sometimes they have to thin out the plastisol to make it transparent. Best example of fragile clear plastic is Beast Machine's Night Scream. Beast Machine's Night Scream has this clear orange plastic that over the years, because of being able to make it really thin so it could be transparent, it also became very brittle. Most clear plastic that exists on Transformers, they're used for light piping. They're used in areas that aren't, I guess we'll call it a stress point for transformation. It's not something that would be like oh, here, like if this yellow piece here was clear plastic for hot rods, I guess we'll call it the engine transformation part of it, this would probably be broken because of the use of a clear plastic. But then it's also what kind of clear plastic, because let's pull out my boy here, Crystar. Crystar is made out of PVC, and PVC plastic is, let's not even talk about, almost bendable. You know what I mean? So Crystar is clear, and but made out of PVC plastic, and very dusty. Crystar, good lord. PVC attracts a lot of dust too. So it's same thing. And then when you get to even here, like here's PVC with little Daniel here from the '86 movie. So it really has to do also with the casting. So when you use plastisol with clear plastic, and it's used in an area that's a stress point, like a transformation, you're asking for trouble. So a lot of clear Transformers, there's that, you want to be careful. A good example that I could think of also is Lockdown from Animated. He had a 2-pack that had clear plastic. And that's a scary one to transform. There's people that have broken the little notches on him, those little like spikes. So, but again, it has to do because the oxygen gets in, expands, contracts, makes it brittle. I love Crystar. That's Michael Golden. Great comic book. Great comic book. Someone asked something else too. Transformatics you can watch. We'll have the replays in an hour or so. Usually when the stream ends, what we do is we wait for it because YouTube has to encode it. So it encodes the whole 2-hour segment, and then I'll re-upload it, and then I put a thumbnail so it's easier for people to find. So it'll all be up there. We're 3 minutes away from finishing anyway, so I'm just going to take some last super chats, and then we'll call it a night with all the great people today. But yeah, it's been a good night, guys. It's been a good night. I'll take a few questions, and then we'll call it down. I broke the clear lockdown after 5 years owning it. See, there you go. See, Nick, the clear lock. The lockdown is the most recent clear plastic one I could think of. That's something that's very fragile. Because, again, you have, there was a Dark of the Moon Bumblebee that used like a clear kind of plastic, but it wasn't translucent clear. it was kind of like an opaque. So because it was done like that with I think it was an ABS plastic in this case, especially back then, the ABS was stronger. I'm trying to see if there's any others, and this is me looking at like a complete run of everything. Matrix Hot Rod. Let's get that one. You know, one sec. I got 2 of those. Let's pull that one out. Let's pull it out. Giggity. You know, this one, it's clear plastic. But again, the plastic that's used on this one was a strong ABS from 2006. And it's pretty solid. Although I wouldn't be surprised probably if some of the joints over there could probably break over the years if you probably play with it a lot. But this was a Takara exclusive, a 3-pack that came with pins and everything. This is when he held the Matrix. That's what it's trying to reference to. But I mean, this mold, when it's been done in clear, it's been done a few times in clear. They did the Sons of Cybertron 2-pack too. You know, this one, it's pretty solid. And I have 2 of them. You know, one for robot mode, one for vehicle mode. And they're pretty solid, these ones. But it really has to do with the kind of plastic they use, you know, all that kind of stuff. When's the next episode of Aaron's podcast and what it's going to be on? Wait and see. It won't be Transformers, though. I'll give you a teaser. It involves another big, very famous movie director of a movie franchise and all the video games, all the toys related to that movie franchise, and all the cool behind-the-scenes stuff that happened with it. It's going to be a very good one, actually. A very, very good one. We already did the preliminary images, because everything that we talk about on that podcast, Aaron sends me behind-the-scenes photos and, you know, background stuff and cool. Like in the Star Wars one, there was a lot of images that have never been shared before. Like, you know, like Steve Bono at Hasbro with all his Star Wars toys in the Hasbro studio. Like, you know, all of these photos have never been public. You know, the Mike Brand photo is one of the few images of Mike Brand that exist on all the internet. The guy who created Power of the Force, you know, like it's in that video. So a lot of cool stuff there. So the next one too, we're hoping that we could potentially get it up and run and dunning. Potentially, I want to say maybe next week, maybe the week after that. We really want to pace it out, but we want it that whenever one comes out, it's a big deal. You know, like the last one almost is up to 1,000 views now. So to us, that's a success. You know, for a channel that starts from 0 to have your first major video get 1,000 views, that's a success for us. So we'll just keep moving forward with that, and hopefully the next one, we'll see. There's going to be, again, Batman, Jurassic Park, Beyblade, Transformers, Pokemon, some really weird stuff too, like you know, Total Justice, a lot of DC stuff. So there's a Men in Black. I mean, I have a huge list, and then other guys, the guys who worked on Mask, the guys who worked on, you know, this brand, that brand, all these other brands through Kenner and Hasbro. So it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be really fun to sit down with a lot of those people and talk about how these toy lines are made, because it gives people a better idea of how this stuff is made. We're going to take one last question of the non-super chats, and then we will call it a night. And the question is, what Kingdom figure is your favorite? Up to this point, probably my favorite Kingdom figure would have to be... I will have to go with... I'm going to go with Black Arachnia for now, because I'm so impressed by how they made that Masterpiece toy like that. I think she's a must. I want to find that Worlds Collide 4-pack. I'm desperately trying to find that, because I really want to have that toy-accurate Black Arachnia. But I'll say Black Arachnia at the moment. I don't have everything. I don't have Rodimus yet. Maybe Rodimus will be my favorite. You know? Maybe the Ark will be my favorite. I don't have the Ark yet. But right now, Black Arachnia. Really love her. Great toy. What a great toy. Didn't expect that to be so well done compared to like the Masterpiece one that already knocked it out of the park and looked like the animation model. Really shows like how Transformer toy evolution works. But that's it, my friends. That's it. We are done for today. So once again, thank you everyone who came this evening for the Transformer Slag podcast live stream. Again, Symbiote Studios, thank you for coming and supporting us and giving us all the cool stuff, along with Hasbro, who donates everything. Again, check out all their other stuff that's going to be popping up in the near future. Dun, 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 dun. And of course, thank you to all the patrons and all the YouTube members. Again, if you want to be part of the Transformer Slag Patreon and support the podcast, let us know we're doing a good job. Check down below. It says, you have the link. You could join the Patreon and check us out on Discord. Come join that. All the cool stuff. Again, thanks guys for coming. It's always awesome. It's always humbling to have you guys here and do super chats and support. So, it's just cool. It's just cool to be able to talk robots with you dudes on these crazy Saturday nights. So it always, like I say, roll out.